Zero to empire, the hidden rules of building what no one else can, the myth of the next big thing. Most people build the wrong thing. They copy what already exists. They chase trends. They hustle endlessly and still fail. Why? Because they're trying to go from one to many, when the real game is going from 0 to 1. The difference is massive. 1 to many is incremental. 0 to 1 is creation. The birth of something radically different. Something new, monopolistic, and category-defining. Ask yourself, why? Did Google destroy all other search engines? Why did PayPal succeed when 99% of fintech startups vanished? Why did Facebook win while dozens of social networks died? They didn't compete their way to success. They escaped competition entirely. That's the secret. Breakthrough success doesn't come from working harder, it comes from seeing differently. This book is your blueprint to build the kind of startup 99% of people can't even imagine because they're trapped in conventional thinking. If you're tired of playing small, if you feel like you're meant to build something iconic, if you're done copying others and ready to think independently, this is your playbook by the end of this book. You'll understand why competition is for losers and how to escape it forever, how to find a secret that no one else sees, why the best startup idea sounds like a bad idea at first, the mental models elite founders use to build the future, how to build a monopoly legally, ethically, and powerfully, the truth behind innovation, distribution, and scale, why contrarian thinking is a superpower, how to create exponential leverage through tech, people, and capital. You'll learn not just how to win, but how to make your own game. Chapter 1. Competition is for losers. If you want to fail like everyone else, do what everyone else is doing. Every entrepreneur says they want to be different, but most of them act exactly the same. They build another to-do app that create another digital agency. They copy a trend, slap on a new name, and hope the market rewards them. Then they spend months competing on price, features, or SEO. They fight to the death in a race no one actually wins. Let's get one thing brutally clear. If you are in a competitive market, you have already lost. The greatest companies of our time, Google, PayPal, SpaceX, Apple, Amazon did not win because they competed better. They won because they didn't have to compete at all. They escaped. And that's exactly what you need to do. This chapter is your wake-up call and your escape plan. The core idea: avoid competition, create monopoly. The word monopoly sounds evil, right? It conjures images of price gouging, corporate greed, and government lawsuits. But in startup strategy, monopoly is not about evil, it's about survival. A monopoly means you created something so unique, customers have no real substitute. You control pricing, distribution, and branding. You are not fighting to survive, you are free to grow. Competition means no profits. Monopoly means margin, freedom, and long-term power. Peter Thiel famously said, "All happy companies are different. All failed companies are the same. They failed to escape competition." So here's the brutal truth. If your startup idea isn't aiming to dominate a small niche, it's already dying. You're not building a business. You're building a commodity. Real example: the PayPal escape hatch. In 1999, Peter Thiel and Elon Musk weren't trying to build just another bank. That would have meant competing with giants like Citibank and Wells Fargo. Instead, they targeted a tiny, overlooked niche: sending payments via email. For eBay users, no one was paying attention to that corner of the internet, but Thiel knew something others didn't. If they could dominate this niche, they could scale everywhere. PayPal didn't start by going wide, it started by going deep and fast. That's the secret. Don't build a better mousetrap, build a trap for a mouse no one else sees. Psychology of competition. Why you're addicted to losing. The pull to compete is hardwired in school. You're trained to fight for grades, rank, and approval. In society, you're measured against others 24/7. So, when you start a business, your instinct is to look around and copy what's already working. That's death. The more you copy, the harder you compete. The harder you compete, the less you win. Warren Buffett calls this the institutional imperative. People do what everyone else is doing, because everyone else is doing it. But in startups, that instinct kills. The market doesn't reward sameness. It rewards courage, clarity, and category creation. The strategy: escape, then dominate. Here's how you escape competition and build monopoly instead. Step 1. Find a niche no one's defending. Look for corners of the market where people are underserved or ignored, not sexy, but valuable. Don't build another productivity tool. Build the only tool for remote funeral directors who manage international clients. Niche to the point of absurdity. Step 2. Solve a specific, painful problem. Forget broad appeal. Solve a deep pain for a small group and become irreplaceable to them. Uber didn't start with global dominance, it started in San Francisco, solving a pain for techies who couldn't get cabs. Step 3. Build a moat from day one. What protects you from copycats? Network effects, proprietary data, brand loyalty, switching costs. If you're easy to clone, you're dead. Build walls before the enemy sees you. Action steps. What you must do this week. Stop looking at your competitors. Delete them from your radar. Don't copy, compare, or care. Focus on being so different they can't touch you. List 3 tiny niches that are underserved. Ask, who is silently suffering and no one is solving their problem. Write a 1-sentence monopoly thesis. Example, we are the only AI platform helping small-town lawyers automate legal briefs in under 5 minutes. Build for depth, not breadth. Your goal is not to impress everyone. Your goal is to be loved by a small group who pays, stays, and tells others. Design a moat. Ask yourself, if I succeed, how will I make it hard for others to copy me? Teaser for Chapter 2. The Power of Secrets. If escaping competition is the goal, how do you find the unseen ideas that make it possible? In the next chapter, we'll uncover the hidden engine behind every empire. Secrets. You'll learn how to spot them, how to test them, and how to turn them into a monopoly before the world even notices. Remember, competition is a trap. Escape it, and you win by default. Chapter 2. The Power of Secrets. The best ideas sound stupid at first until they take over the world. What do Facebook, Airbnb, Stripe, and Tesla all have in common? They started with a secret, a belief about the world that sounded ridiculous, insane, or irrelevant to almost everyone else. And yet, that secret gave them the edge. That secret became their empire, because in the startup world, there are 2 kinds of people: those who believe everything important has already been discovered, and those who understand that the biggest opportunities are still hidden in plain sight. The biggest breakthroughs begin as secrets, not conspiracy theories, not fantasies, but undervalued truths, insights about the world that others haven't realized. Yet, this chapter will teach you how to find them, test them, and build a business that becomes untouchable because of them. The core idea: every great business begins with a secret. Peter Thiel puts it simply: what important truth do very few people agree with you on? That's the question most people are too scared to answer. Honestly, because real secrets are lonely. They make you sound weird, they invite mockery and skepticism. But the paradox is this: the more people agree with your startup idea, the worse it probably is. If everyone believes it's a good idea, it's already obvious. And if it's obvious, it's already saturated. Great founders don't build what the market already knows it wants, they build what the market will want once it wakes up. Real example: Airbnb's hidden truth. When Brian Chesky and Joe Gebbia pitched Airbnb, people laughed. Strangers renting air mattresses in your apartment. Who would do that? Investors passed. Friends warned them. The idea sounded ridiculous, but Chesky and Gebbia believed. A hidden truth: people will trust strangers in their homes if the platform makes it feel safe. At the time, that was borderline absurd. But it was also a secret no one else saw. Now, that stupid idea is worth over $100 billion. The psychology of secrets. Why most people never find them. Secrets hide in the cracks between what people believe and what's actually true. But most people miss them because they seek validation, not insight. They fear being wrong more than being irrelevant. They think new means risky instead of valuable. Here's the truth: if you only pursue ideas that sound smart today, you'll miss the ones that change everything tomorrow. Finding secrets requires courage. But more than that, it requires a new lens. How to find a secret step by step. 1. Look where no one else is looking. Don't follow trends. Follow frustration. Ask, what markets are boring, broken, or invisible? What problems do people silently endure? What industries are full of inefficiency, fraud, or inertia? Secrets live where attention doesn't. 2. Observe obsession. People often build around what's hot, but secrets are hidden in what's weirdly personal. Ask, what are you obsessed with that others ignore? What do you understand better than anyone in your niche? What seems irrational but keeps working? Obsession reveals where the world hasn't caught up to you yet. 3. Study outliers. What's working quietly while no one's watching? Look for small communities solving big problems with duct tape bootstrapped businesses serving underserved groups workarounds, hacks, and off-label uses of products. If it's not supposed to work but it does, it's probably a secret. 4. Reverse the obvious. Challenge sacred assumptions. Take what everyone believes and flip it. For example, people won't pay for content. Give Substack and Patreon proved otherwise. Banks are too big to disrupt. Give Stripe and Revolut cracked the code. No one wants to own electric cars. Gives Tesla didn't ask permission. Ask yourself, what is everyone wrong about, but they don't know it yet? Action steps. Discover your first secret. This week, do the following. Write down 5 things you believe that most people would disagree with. Don't censor yourself. These are your starting points. Interview 3 people in a boring or broken industry. Ask, what's something that frustrates you every day, but you've just accepted? Document 1 weird obsession you have that no one else seems to care about. That odd curiosity may hold the seed of a powerful insight. Ask this question daily for a week. What am I wrong about today that the world will realize tomorrow? Mental reframe. Not all secrets are equal. There are 2 types of secrets. 1. Secrets of nature, technical truths, for example. Fusion energy, quantum computing gives hard to uncover. Require research and resources. 2. Secrets of people, psychological, cultural, or behavioral truths gives easier to find. Require empathy, observation, and courage. Most successful startups begin with people's secrets. They're cheaper to find and easier to build around fast. Final word. Secrets become empires. The reason secrets matter is simple. If everyone already knows the opportunity, the window is already closed. But if you find a secret and you act fast, you can build a business so unique, the market has no defense against you. Secrets are the seeds of monopolies, and monopolies are the birthplaces of empires. Teaser for Chapter 3. Monopolies are the goal, not the enemy. In the next chapter, we're going to shatter another lie. Competition is healthy. You'll discover why you should aim to own a market legally, ethically, and strategically, and how to do it without sounding evil. We'll talk pricing power, category creation, and the art of becoming the only option. Chapter 3. Monopolies are the goal, not the enemy. You're not in business to compete. You're in business to dominate. You've been lied to. You've been told competition is healthy, that capitalism thrives on it, that may the best product win is how the world works. But that's not what the smartest entrepreneurs believe, not what the wealthiest founders build toward, and definitely not how empires are created. The truth, the goal is not to compete better, the goal is to become the only one. In this chapter, we'll rip apart the myth of healthy competition, and show you how monopoly is not just your best strategic move, it's your only chance at survival. The core idea, if you don't own the market owns you. In startup land, monopoly isn't a bad word. It's a survival strategy. Let's define it simply. Competition means constantly battling over price, attention, and shelf space. Monopoly means you are the only logical choice. You set the rules. Peter Thiel says it best, in a world of perfect competition, profits disappear. The only way to create lasting value is by building a monopoly. If you're not aiming to dominate, you're doomed to grind. Real example, Google's invisible empire. Google doesn't just do search better. Google is search. They own over 90% of global search traffic. No one shops around when they need to look something up. They don't compare engines, they just Google it. That's not branding. That's monopoly thinking. And it's what gives Google pricing power with advertisers, data dominance for AI, endless cash flow to fund side bets like Waymo, Bard, and DeepMind. This wasn't an accident. It was a deliberate strategy to own the attention gateway of the internet. Your business needs the same mentality on a smaller scale first, but just as focused. Psychology of monopoly. Why it feels wrong to want power. Most people subconsciously sabotage themselves because they want to feel liked, not powerful. They say, I don't want to step on toes, I just want to help people. I'll let the product speak for itself. But business isn't about being liked, it's about being chosen consistently, and automatically. People don't buy the best solution. They buy the only one that feels safe, obvious, or dominant. You don't need to kill your competitors, you need to make them irrelevant. What a modern monopoly really looks like. You don't need to own 100% of a giant market. You need to own one slice so deeply that no one else can touch. Monopoly today looks like category creation, for example. Notion didn't compete with Google Docs, it redefined productivity. Brand monopoly, for example. Apple isn't just a tech company, it's a luxury fashion brand in disguise. Community control. For example, Reddit owns niche forum attention. No competitor even comes close. The power isn't in the size, the power is in the irreplaceability. How to build a monopoly. Step by step. Step 1. Define a new category even if it's micro. Don't sell a CRM. Sell the only CRM for fitness coaches who run WhatsApp groups. Name it, own it, evangelize it. If you don't define the category, someone else will and you'll be stuck competing on features. Step 2. Dominate a niche before you scale. Go deep, not wide. Create a loyal user base that feels like you built just for them. This is what Amazon did with books. It's what Tesla did with luxury EVs. It's what you must do to build leverage and margin. Step 3. Build moats early and often. Ask what protects me once I succeed. Build these network effects. The more people use it, the better it gets. Switching costs make it painful to leave you. Data flywheels. Use every interaction to get smarter. Strong brand signal so people choose you emotionally, not rationally. Stop right there. This isn't just a video. This is a turning point. You're not here by accident. You were meant to see this. If your heart's beating faster, if something inside you just woke up, do not ignore that feeling. Like this video, not for us, but for you. To lock in this energy. Share it because someone out there is lost, and you might be the reason they wake up. Subscribe right now, because we're not done. This channel is about to blow your mind. Again and again and again. This is more than content, this is a revolution, a mindset, a mission. And if you felt this even for a second, then you're part of it now, so don't just watch, join the movement. Like, share, subscribe, or scroll back to the same life you're trying to escape. Your call. Competitive markets are a prison. Let's say you start a trendy SaaS company. You do everything right, decent product, strong marketing, good support, but the space is crowded. You lower prices to compete. You add features to keep up. You spend more on ads just to stay visible. You become a slave to competition, and eventually, someone with more funding crushes you or someone with less ego out-executes you. Now what? You worked harder than everyone else, but you played the wrong game. Action steps. Start building your monopoly today. Right. Your only statement gives we're the only platform that _for_. Example, we're the only AI video editor built for solo you who post daily. Choose a niche you can own today. Don't go for massive TAM. Go for undeniable domination. Identify 3 moats you can build. Ask what becomes stronger as we grow. What would make switching from us painful? What emotional hook can we create? Build brand memory. Own a phrase, visual, or vibe. Make people say, this feels like your brand. That's power. Brutal truth, if you're not the first choice, you're no one. There's no prize for second best in a startup. People are overwhelmed. They want clarity. They don't want the best option. They want the only obvious one. Become that tanned you'll never have to compete again. Teaser for Chapter 4. Start small. Scale fast. You now know why monopoly is the goal. Next, we'll get tactical. How do you go from an obscure niche no one cares about to a dominant player that can't be ignored? In Chapter 4, we'll reveal the exact psychology behind rapid growth, how to launch like a sniper, not a shotgun. Why nail it then scale? It is the only formula that works. Chapter 4. Start small, scale fast. If you try to sell to everyone, you end up convincing no one. Everyone wants to go big. They dream of millions of users, global markets, billion-dollar valuations, so they start wide, they launch to everyone. They build general solutions for general problems, and they die. The paradox of explosive scale is this: you have to start so small it feels stupid. Every empire begins as a micro-monopoly. Every global brand begins by obsessively solving one problem for one specific group. This chapter will show you why nailing the niche isn't optional, the only path to domination, and how to go from obscure to unstoppable in record time. The core idea: dominate a niche so deeply that escape velocity becomes inevitable. Let's destroy the fantasy. You're not going to launch and go viral. No one cares about your startup. No one is waiting for your product. No one is waiting for your product? No. One believes your idea is the next big thing. Until one day, they do, and that day only comes after you've become a god in your niche. That means, start with a problem so specific, and solve it so perfectly that people can't help but talk. That's how you scale. Not by going wide, but by going deep first. Real example, Facebook's Harvard launch. Zuckerberg didn't start Facebook as a social network for the world. He started by building a simple platform for Harvard students. No one outside the Ivy League cared, but that small community became obsessed. It had exclusivity. It solved a clear identity pain. How do I connect with people on campus? It spread through word of mouth because it made people feel special. Once Harvard was conquered, they moved to Yale, Columbia, Stanford. Then the world starts small. Win completely. Then scale. Psychology of narrow focus. Why most founders resist it. Most builders are terrified of thinking small. It feels limiting, weak, embarrassing, so they chase big markets and broad solutions. They don't want to look like they're only serving a tiny niche. But this is ego, not strategy. Focus doesn't make you smaller, it makes you stronger in a distracted world. People only notice what's built specifically for them. When you make someone feel like your product was handcrafted for their pain, they buy, stay, and evangelize. That's the foundation of scaling fast. Tactical formula. Niche gives obsession, gives explosion. Let's break this down step by step. Step 1. Pick a niche that is bleeding. Forget passion. Look for urgent pain. Ask who's trying to duct tape together solutions. Who's being ignored by mainstream platforms? What group is emotionally invested in solving their problem today? You don't need 1 billion people. You need 1,000 who are desperate. Step 2. Solve the problem so deeply they can't live without you. This is where you win. Do what no one else has done. Customize the UX to feel like it speaks their language. Embed cultural references or workflows they recognize. Provide results so specific they feel like magic. Most companies try to go wide and shallow. You're going deep and unforgettable. Step 3. Build word-of-mouth engines. If your niche feels seen, they will talk. Encourage it. Give early users status, ownership, or exclusive access. Build in braggability. People love to show off new tools. Surprise them with details. No other product ever considered. Let them become your sales for free, passionate and organic. Step 4. Stack new niches strategically. Once you've won one beachhead, pick the next. Don't pivot stack. Ask what adjacent group has similar needs? What's the next community that overlaps with the first? This is how Tesla scaled. Start, high-end EV for rich tech lovers. Next, mid-range sedan for professionals now. Trucks, mass market, battery tech, solar, same core IP, same power, but layered over time. Think layers, not leaps. Case study, ConvertKit's micro-monopoly. ConvertKit wasn't trying to take on MailChimp or ActiveCampaign. They started as email software for bloggers, not marketers, not big businesses, just bloggers. The UI spoke directly to them. The features were exactly what creators needed, no fluff. The founder, Nathan Barry, was one of them. This niche focus made growth effortless. Now they've expanded into the broader creator economy. But they did it the smart way by first owning one group completely. Action steps. Build to scale by starting small. Pick your micro niche. We solve _for who struggle with _ Example, we solve content repurposing for indie podcasters who post weekly. Talk to 5 real people in that niche. Ask, what are you currently doing to solve this? What frustrates you? If you could wave a magic wand, what would this solution look like? Design a V1 that makes one tribe say hell yes. Forget mass appeal. You want fanatical early adopters. Embed viral hooks and bragging rights. Add shareable wins. Let users invite others to unlock new features. Give early access badges that create social proof. Plan your second niche but don't launch yet. List adjacent. Verticals. Watch user overlap. Wait until the first one's obsessed, then expand. The myth of big from day one. VCs love total addressable market. Media loves billion-dollar dreams. But you don't scale by going wide. You scale by becoming inevitable to the right people first. Big things don't start big. They start so specific, they look like toys. Be the toy that takes over the world. Teaser for Chapter 5. The Contrarian Founder's Mindset. You've escaped competition. You've started small and designed for scale. Now, it's time to upgrade your thinking. In Chapter 5, you'll learn why the smartest founders sound insane at first, how to reverse popular opinions to find gold, and the mental models used by visionaries who bend the future. Chapter 5, The Contrarian Founder's Mindset. If everyone agrees with your idea, you're already too late. The world rewards the bold, but it worships the misunderstood. Because the greatest founders don't just think differently, they think in opposition to what the rest of the world believes. They bet on ideas that seem strange. They act on truths that others ignore. They build what no one else says yet. Contrarian thinking isn't about being edgy, it's about seeing value before the market wakes up, and that's your edge. This chapter will rewire how you think about ideas, risk, timing, and vision. It's not just about doing things differently, it's about thinking so differently that the game bends in your favor. The core idea. Smart founders see truths that look wrong today, but feel inevitable tomorrow. Let's be clear, most startup advice is designed to make you average, safe, palatable, easy to understand. But the ideas that truly win, they usually sound like bad ideas at first. Airbnb, strangers sleeping in your house. Uber, random guys driving you around in their cars. Bitcoin, magic internet money. All of these ideas were laughed at in the beginning, but the founders had something no one else had. Conviction in a truth that wasn't obvious, yet they were contrarian and they were right. That's what you need to become. Real example, Elon Musk and the impossible bet. When Elon Musk launched SpaceX, people mocked him. You're not NASA. You'll blow up $1 billion on launch pads. Only governments can launch rockets. And they were right at the time. But Musk had a contrarian thesis. Private companies can build cheaper, reusable rockets and open the future of space. Now, NASA rents rockets from him. He literally launches astronauts for the US government. Contrarian, ridiculed, then undeniable. Why most people never think contrarian? Most people are trained for conformity. School teaches you to memorize. Question. Society rewards safety, not risk. Culture teaches you to blend in, not stand out. So when a truly original idea appears, people flinch, they dismiss it, laugh at it, avoid it. But here's the paradox. The more weird your insight feels, the more valuable it probably is. If everyone believes something is true, there's no opportunity left. But if you believe something no one else sees, you can win alone. Contrarian doesn't mean delusional. Contrarianism is a weapon, but only when paired with accuracy. Being contrarian is useless unless you're also right, so don't just disagree to be edgy. Disagree because you've spotted something real, testable, and urgent. The goal is not rebellion. The goal is to see the cracks in consensus and walk through them before anyone else. 3 contrarian mental models that unlock hidden ideas. 1. Invert popular beliefs. Ask, what does everyone believe in this space, and what if the opposite is true? Examples. Everyone, you can't build a new social media platform today. Contrarian, people are desperate for intimacy, not scale. Build a network of 100 inches, gives like Geneva or Locket. Everyone. The AI market is saturated. Contrarian, the general AI market is noisy, but niche AI tools for ultra-specific workflows are wide open. Use inversion to find the blind spots in consensus. 2. Surf the cultural backlash early. Ask, what trend is overheating and what is the backlash that's quietly growing beneath it? Overheated, hustle culture gives backlash. Slow living, deep work, overheated, public everything gives backlash. Privacy-first tools, overheated, mass consumption gives backlash. Minimalist micro-communities. If you can see the pendulum swinging before others, you can ride the wave before it crests. 3. Zoom into the fringe. Ask, what are obsessive people doing in weird corners of the internet and why? Great companies often start with fanatics, Reddit communities, hacker news threads, niche Discord, servers, underground marketplaces. Why? Because these places reveal where early needs are being hacked together before they hit the mainstream. What looks like a toy today could be tomorrow's dominant platform. Action steps. Train your contrarian muscle. Write down 5 beliefs you hold that most people disagree with. Example, most productivity tools make people less productive. These are the raw seeds of future business theses. Find 3 trends you think are overhyped. Write the opposite. Ask, what happens when this collapses? Look for opportunities in the whiplash. Join 3 online communities most people ignore. Go deep in a weird subreddit, Discord server, or hacker forum. Ask, what are these people building, fixing, complaining about? Build a bad idea list. Create a list of ideas you've rejected because they sounded dumb. Revisit them in 30 days with fresh eyes. You'll be shocked what stands out. Final truth. The best ideas always sound wrong, because if they sounded obviously right, someone else would already be doing them. The world changes not when everyone agrees, but when one person proves everyone else was wrong. Be that person. Teaser for Chapter 6. Sales, not just product. You've learned to see differently, but the greatest startup in the world means nothing if you can't get it in people's hands. In Chapter 6, we'll destroy the lie that great products sell themselves and show you why sales is the real engine of startup success. How to build distribution moats before your product is even ready. Why most founders fail not because of the idea, but because they can't sell it. Chapter 6. Sales, not just product. You don't have a business until someone pays you. You just need to build a great product. This is the most dangerous lie in startup culture, because great products don't sell themselves. Not anymore. Maybe not ever. In a world full of noise, choices, and attention addiction, even the best ideas die in silence if they aren't sold powerfully. Your startup is not a product. It's a sales machine that delivers a solution. This chapter will show you how to build that machine. Even if you hate selling, even if you're technical, even if you think the product should speak for itself, it won't. The core idea: sales is strategy, not sleaze. Let's get something clear. Sales is not tricking people. Sales is not pushing garbage. Sales is not reserved for extroverts in shiny suits. Sales is helping people understand why your product is the best solution to their urgent problem. If you don't know how to sell, you don't know how to communicate value. And if you can't communicate value, you don't have a business, just a hobby. Real example: Stripe's secret. Superpower. Stripe didn't grow because it had the best code base. It grew because its early sales strategy was surgical. The Collison brothers did things that don't scale. They emailed developers directly. They helped them integrate the API, line by line. They made developers feel understood, empowered, and heard. Yes, Stripe had a great product, but it won because it knew how to deliver and sell that product to the exact people who needed it most. Great product times great sales equals unstoppable growth. Psychology of sales. Why founders avoid it. Most founders don't want to sell because they associate it with being pushy. They fear rejection. They assume a better version of the product will fix everything. But here's the truth: the more technical you are, the more dangerous your aversion to sales becomes. Because you'll hide in your code, you'll chase perfection. You'll avoid the real work of putting your idea in front of humans who say yes or no. And that's where the real lessons live. 3 sales myths that are killing startups. Myth. #1. Great products sell themselves. Truth. Great products with clear value propositions and strategic distribution channels sell themselves. That's a mouthful, but every word matters. Without attention and clarity, your product is invisible. Myth number 2. Sales comes after product. Truth. Sales is part of the product design process. Every sales conversation shows you what messaging works, what features matter, what emotions drive decisions. If you're not selling, you're building blind. Myth number 3. Sales is about closing. Truth. Sales is about clarity. The best salespeople don't convince, they reveal. They make the value obvious. They ask questions that expose pain. They show how your product solves that pain now, not someday. The founder's sales playbook, step by step. Step 1. Talk to humans, early and often. Don't automate. Don't pitch decks. Just talk. Ask, what's your biggest frustration with X? Listen. Don't defend. Your first 10 to 50 conversations will shape everything. Step 2. Sell with clarity, not complexity. Most founders over-explain instead. Describe your product in one sentence that focuses on outcome. Example: we help Shopify brands recover abandoned carts using AI-powered WhatsApp messages. Use emotional triggers. Example: you're losing 30% of your revenue every day and don't even know it. Don't explain how it works. Explain why it matters. Step 3. Build a manual sales engine before automation. Before you think about scaling ads, funnels, or VCs, reach out cold. Close deals manually. Deliver value personally. Yes, it's messy. Yes, it's hard. That's why most people don't do it, and why most people lose. Step 4. Use proof, not hype. Early users don't care about your big vision. They want to know who else has used it. What results did they get? Can you show me proof? So collect screenshots, testimonials, case studies, numbers, evidence greater than eloquence. Step 5. Follow up, like a professional. Most deals are lost because of silence, not rejection. Your follow-up should add value, send a resource, idea, stat, reaffirm results. Gently push urgency. Use this 3-line follow-up. Hey name. Just checking in. We've helped X customer increase Y metric by Z%. Let me know if you'd like to see how this works for you. Simple, confident, effective. Action steps. Build your sales engine this week. Have 5 sales conversations in the next 5 days. Don't pitch, listen, discover pain. Write your 1-sentence value. Pitch, use, gives we help X, solve Y using Z. Close your first manual deal before automating anything. If you can't sell it one-on-one, you won't sell it at scale. Create one proof asset. Even a 2-sentence testimonial is better than a feature list. Follow up with every lead you've ignored. Most founders leave money in the inbox. Fix that today. Final truth. No sales, no startup. You can raise money. You can build features. You can make a beautiful pitch deck. But if you don't learn how to sell, you don't have a business. You have a theory. And theories don't pay the bills. Sales isn't beneath you. It's the core skill that separates builders from winners. Stop right there. This isn't just a video. This is a turning point. You're not here by accident. You were meant to see this. If your heart's beating faster, if something inside you just woke up, do not ignore that feeling. Like this video, not for us, but for you. To lock in this energy. Share it because someone out there is lost, and you might be the reason they wake up. Subscribe right now, because we're not done. This channel is about to blow your mind. Again and again and again. This is more than content. This is a revolution, a mindset, a mission. And if you felt this even for a second, then you're part of it now. So don't just watch. Join the movement. Like, share, subscribe, or scroll back to the same life you're trying to escape. Your call. Chapter 7. People are leverage. You can build alone. Or build a machine that compounds without you. Hard work will get you started. But people are what take you to the next level. If you're still doing everything yourself, writing code, answering emails, designing graphics, closing deals, posting content, handling support, you're not building a startup, you're building a prison. The most powerful founders in history didn't just build products, they built armies. This chapter is about replacing hustle with human leverage so your vision scales beyond you. The core idea: people multiply everything, good or bad. Let's be clear. You are not the bottleneck because you're not working hard enough. You are the bottleneck because you're still doing too much yourself. The fastest path to scale is to hire thinking machines, not just hands. When you find the right people, your execution doubles. Your energy returns. Your company compounds. But the wrong people, they don't just slow you down. They infect the culture, dilute the mission, and destroy leverage. That's why this chapter isn't just about hiring. It's about how to think about people as strategic force multipliers. Real example: Jeff Bezos and the 2 Pizza team. Amazon doesn't scale through chaos, it scales through small, autonomous teams of thinkers who operate like startups inside the company. Bezos famously said, "If it takes more than 2 pizzas to feed the team is too big." Why? Because massive teams slow decisions. They kill ownership, they become political instead of productive. The solution: small, elite units of high trust, high output people with clear missions and freedom to move. If it works for Amazon, it can work for you at any size. Psychology of founders: why you refuse to let go. Founders often cling to control because of fear. No one can do it like I can. It'll take too long to train them. It's just faster if I do it myself. But here's the truth: every hour you spend doing repeatable tasks is an hour you're not building an empire. If you don't let go, you'll drown. If you don't delegate, you'll die slow. If you don't trust people, you'll never scale. The 3 forms of people leverage. 1. Team leverage: internal builders, hire operators, creators, closers, engineers, people who ship you, micromanaging every detail. They are extensions of your execution capacity. 2. Audience leverage: external evangelists. Build in public, share wins, tell your story. Your fans become your recruiters, distributors, sales reps, brand builders. A. Loyal audience is a force multiplier that works for free because they believe. 3. Network leverage mentors, allies, and connectors. You are one connection away from a key hire, a warm intro to your dream investor, a strategic distribution deal, but you won't get those if you don't show up and share your mission. Tactical framework, building leverage into your team. Step 1. Hire thinkers, not taskers. Don't hire people to just do what you say. Hire people who can see around corners, make decisions, bring ideas you missed, ask in interviews. Tell me about a time you made a call your boss didn't expect, but it was right. Step 2. Write the owner's manual. Before you hire, write the answers to: what does success in this role look like? What's our mission? What are our non-negotiable values? Clarity scales better than control. Step 3. Delegate outcomes, not tasks. Bad. Upload this blog post by 3 p.m. Great. Own our blog strategy. Traffic should grow 20% monthly. You decide the tactics. Give your people power, not just checklists. Step 4. Fire fast. Elevate faster. A players hate working with C players. When someone isn't delivering, act quickly. But when someone crushes it, promote them fast. Speed in people decisions equals scale in company results. Step 5. Create systems that replace you. Ask daily, how can I make this work without me? Document every repeatable process. Build dashboards. Set up feedback loops. Then step out so the company runs without your constant input. Action steps. Multiply your time with people. List everything you're doing that someone else could do 80% as well. That's your delegation roadmap. Write a one-page hiring manifesto. What do you believe? What are your standards? What kind of people thrive with you? Hire one person to remove 10 hours from your week. Pay them well. Empower them fully. Create a trust but audit system. Set clear metrics and check-ins. Don't micromanage. Measure. Start sharing wins publicly to attract evangelists. Tweet your journey. Write a thread. Speak at events. Your next hire might be watching silently. Brutal truth. If you're the only engine, you'll burn out. You cannot scale if you are the product. You cannot lead if you're buried in execution. Empires aren't built by founders who do everything. They're built by founders who build teams that do everything. That's your job now. Chapter 8. Technology as a force multiplier. Code doesn't just replace labor, it replaces entire industries. Most people think technology is just a tool. Founders know better. Technology is leverage. It's how one person can do the work of 100. It's how a startup with 5 engineers can kill a legacy company with 5,000 employees. If you're not thinking of your product as code that multiplies effort, you're not building a startup. You're building a consultancy in disguise. This chapter will show you how to build systems, products, and startups that compound without more humans. The core idea: technology lets you scale without permission. In a traditional business, growth requires more people, more processes, more layers, more meetings, more bureaucracy. In a technology-first business, growth requires better code, smarter systems. Automation, data, loops. One-click distribution. That's why the most powerful startups don't grow linearly, they grow exponentially. Because they replace human effort with programmable power. Real example: WhatsApp versus telecom giants. At the time of its $19 billion acquisition, WhatsApp had 55 employees, 450 million users, 0 ads, $0 marketing budget. Compare that to telecom companies, who needed tens of thousands of people to deliver similar services. What was WhatsApp's secret? Technology that replaced entire infrastructure, stacks. One engineer could ship a feature to 500 million people. That's not scale. That's leverage at God level. Why most startups misuse technology? Here's what mediocre founders do: use no-code tools without strategy, build bloated tech stacks without purpose, outsource everything and lose control, ship features instead of solving real problems. But the elite? They build scalable engines, not just interfaces. They ask, how can we make this run 24/7, 100% automated, with no human babysitting? Technology as leverage. 3 key weapons. 1. Automation replace repetition. Every repeated task is a chance to build once. Run forever. CRM follow-ups give Zapier or native workflows. Onboarding gives interactive product tours. Support gives AI, chatbots or robust help centers. Every time you automate, you buy back your future. 2. AP is plug into superpowers. Smart founders don't build everything, they integrate strategically. Stripe handles payments, Twilio handles messaging. OpenAI handles language. Supabase handles backend APIs, give you enterprise-grade capabilities instantly. The future belongs to companies that plug in smarter than everyone else builds. 3. Data loops. Build feedback into the product itself. Your product should get smarter the more people use it. Examples: Spotify, single quotes as recommendation engine, YouTube's algorithm, Grammarly's real-time corrections. These aren't just features, they're flywheels. More use gives better experience, gives more retention, gives more use. That's the loop you must design from day one. The 5 principles of tech-driven domination. 1. Build for asynchronous scale. The best products don't require meetings, demos, or manual steps. They run while you sleep. They onboard users with zero friction. If it doesn't work without you, it doesn't scale. 2. Store knowledge in systems, not heads. Use Notion, GitHub, or internal wikis. Document onboarding, sales flows, and edge cases. Build repeatable SOPs and APIs that codify tribal knowledge. Code your culture into your systems so it survives. Scale. 3. Default to APIs and platforms. Don't build from scratch. Unless it's your competitive edge. Use platforms that give you superpowers and allow your team to focus on what matters. Value delivery. 4. Automate first, then hire. Most founders hire too early for problems tech can solve. Before you add headcount, ask, can this be is there a script, app, or automation? Could a no-code stack handle this for now? A $49 month automation is better than a $49,000 year coordinator. 5. Tech is not just tools, it's DNA. Technology isn't a department, it's the operating system of your company. Your job as a founder is to constantly ask, what should we stop doing manually? What can be built once and scaled infinitely? How do we embed intelligence into the core of what we offer? The more you think like an engineer, Ivan, if you're not one, the more unstoppable your company becomes. Action steps. Make tech your default leverage. List 5 tasks you or your team do weekly that could be automated. Start with onboarding, follow-ups, and reporting. Audit your stack for redundancy. Are you paying for overlapping tools? Are you building what you should be integrating? Design one feedback loop in your product. Let users vote, give feedback, or train the system to adapt. Define the one-way door tasks to systematize. These are tasks you never want to touch. Again, build or buy the tech to kill them. Challenge every manual action. Build, buy, or automate. Every hour of manual effort is tech waiting to happen. Final truth. The most scalable companies think like engineers. Even in strategy, you don't win by working harder. You win by compounding smarter. Systems that learn, automate, scale without permission. The next unicorn isn't the company with the most hustle. It's the one with the deepest leverage. Powered by code. Make technology your servant and your empire will multiply faster than anyone can copy. Chapter 9. The Power Law of Startups. In startups, most things don't matter. One thing matters more than everything. 99% of people play the startup game wrong. They think success is about balancing risk, diversifying your time, playing it safe, and validating ideas slowly, making sure everything has equal attention. But here's the brutal truth. In startups, almost everything you do will fail, but one thing, if you get it right, will make you a billionaire. This isn't optimism, it's math. It's called the power law. And it's how the startup world actually works. This chapter will change how you evaluate ideas, spend your time, and decide where to go. Ignore it, and you'll grind for years with nothing to show. Understand it, and you'll know exactly where to place your biggest bets. The core idea. Most startup outcomes are worthless. A few are worth everything. The power law says, a tiny number of companies generate almost all the returns. 1% of startups deliver 90% of the value. The rest, noise. Same goes for actions inside your company. One feature drives 80% of usage. One hire changes the entire culture. One decision makes or breaks your trajectory. Startups don't run on averages. They run on asymmetric bets. This is why VCs can invest in 100 companies and only need one to return their entire fund. And why you need to think the same way whether you're a founder, builder, or investor of your own time. Real example, Facebook's growth curve. Facebook Wasn't the first social network. It wasn't even the best designed at launch, but it had one thing others didn't. Unstoppable network effects inside tight college communities. That one feature acquiring a .edu email turned it into the most trusted, exclusive social experience. That one decision triggered virality, press FOMO and scale. Everything else features ads. Profiles with secondary. Facebook is a $1 trillion outcome. Most startups from its era don't exist anymore. One feature, one wedge, one asymmetric bet. That's the power law. Why founders waste time on flatline bets. Most founders spread their time across 10 priorities. Launch 20 features that solve nothing deeply. Keep experimenting with safe ideas that won't move the needle. But here's what you must understand. The power law punishes mediocrity. It rewards concentration. If you give 10% effort to 10 things, you'll lose. But if you put 100% into the one idea with exponential upside, you have a shot at a legacy. The 4 places the power law shows up in startups. 1. The market you choose. Not all markets are created equal. Some are flat, some are growing 2% per year, but some are exploding and hiding in plain sight. Ask, is this market expanding rapidly? Is there a why now moment driving urgency? Is this a winner take most space? Most startup success is market-driven, not founder-driven. Pick a great market. Pick it early. 2. The product insight you bet on. What core product truth are you betting your startup on? Most founders have weak insights. We'll be faster, we'll have better UX, we'll just build it better. But power law products are 10x better or different, not 10% better. Ask, what's the contrarian truth you believe? What insight do others think is crazy but you know is real? The more uncomfortable your belief feels, the more likely you're onto a power law bet. 3. The people you hire. 1 A+ player can outproduce 10 B players. They move faster, think clearer, solve without handholding, attract other A+ players. Hire slowly doesn't mean hire safe. It means hire power law people. The kind of people who raise the average of the whole company. 4. The distribution channel you dominate. Distribution is not one of many things. It's often the entire business. Uber didn't win because it had the best app. It won because it nailed driver liquidity and dense market launches. TikTok didn't win on why. It won by building the smartest content algorithm and controlling attention. Find your power law channel and dominate it ruthlessly. Action steps. Operate with power law precision. Audit your startup. What's driving 80% of results? Cut or deprioritize the rest. Focus ruthlessly. Write your one power law bet. Complete this. Gives if this one thing works, the entire company changes. Choose a growing, unfair market. Find a market that's moving with you, not against you. Bonus. Look for unsexy industries that are being disrupted quietly. Fire fast. Upgrade faster. If someone isn't compounding value, they're compounding decay. Replace them with power law talent. Kill 80% of your roadmap. Focus on the 1 to 2 features that unlock retention, virality, or revenue. Final truth. You only need one right bet greater than 100 safe decisions. One breakthrough hire greater than 10 average employees. One magnetic feature greater than 100 minor ones. One exponential market greater than 10 saturated ones. The power law isn't just a theory, it's how empires are built. Understand it, obsess over it, bet everything on your biggest asymmetry. That's how you go from 0 to 1 and never back again. Chapter 10. 0 to 1 thinking. Going from 0 to 1 means creating something truly new, not just doing more of the same. The biggest mistake founders make. They copy another social app, another AI tool, another Uber for X. But great, startups don't go from 1 to many. They go from 0 to 1. 0 to 1 means inventing something the world has never seen, not iterating, improving, or optimizing but creating. This isn't about being flashy, it's about building. What's missing, not what's trendy. In this chapter, you'll learn how to stop thinking incrementally and start thinking originally. The core idea. 0 to 1 thinking is the rare superpower of originality. We live in a copy-paste world. Everything looks the same. Apps with identical UIs. Startups chasing the same markets. Products with AI slapped on just to feel current. But here's the truth. The most valuable companies aren't better versions of what exists. They are entirely different categories. Google wasn't a better Yahoo. Airbnb wasn't a better hotel. Bitcoin wasn't a better bank. They were new ideas, built from first principles, not mimicked playbooks. Real example, Elon Musk's first principles. Thinking Elon Musk didn't start SpaceX by asking, how can we make rockets cheaper? He asked, gives what is a rocket actually made of, and how much should that cost? By breaking it down to raw materials and rebuilding from scratch, he discovered, most rockets were overpriced by 90%. The industry was driven by legacy suppliers, not innovation. A private company could move faster and build smarter. That's 0 to 1 thinking. Not improving an old path, creating a new one. Why most founders stay stuck in 1-2N mode. Most founders copy what's working, chase hot trends. Try to add a feature to stand out. But this thinking leads to red oceans, crowded, cutthroat markets, marginal gains, commoditized products. It feels safe, but it's a death sentence. 1-2N is incremental. 0 to 1 is exponential. How to think like a 0 to 1 founder. 1. Start from first principles, not analogies. Don't ask, how can we make this better? Ask, what's the core problem? What's the cleanest, boldest solution? Break everything into, what do we know is true? What can we build that ignores how it's currently done? That's how PayPal reinvented payments. That's how Stripe made APIs sexy. That's how Tesla redefined what cars could be. 2. Ignore the competition, invent your own game. If you're constantly watching your competitors, you've already lost. 0 to 1 founders build for a world that doesn't exist yet. Focus on deep insight, not fast imitation. Create categories, not comparisons. The goal is monopoly, not market share. Create something so differentiated, so niche specific, and so valuable it has no real substitute. 3. Ask the unaskable questions. Every 0 to 1 leap starts with a heresy. Why can't we launch a reusable rocket? Why can't strangers trust each other with their homes? Why can't money exist without banks? These are the questions that sound stupid until they become billion-dollar companies. Your job isn't to fit in. Your job is to see what others dismiss. For bet on secrets, not consensus. Thiel's famous question, what important truth do very few people agree with you on? That question filters signal from noise. Consensus ideas are crowded, secrets are lonely. But high-leverage. If no one is working on the idea, there's probably no competition, and if you're right, you own the entire category. 5. Be comfortable looking wrong before you're proven right. 0 to 1 thinking often looks stupid until it wins. You'll face skepticism, confusion, mockery, even from investors, but the only people who change the world are the ones willing to look crazy for a while. The future belongs to those bold enough to build it before it's obvious. Action steps. Unlock 0 to 1 thinking. Do a first principles audit on your idea. Strip it down. What's truly essential? What have you assumed just because others do it that way? Write down 3 heretical questions in your industry. The crazier they sound, the more potential they hold. Identify one secret you believe that others don't. This is your edge. Don't run from it, build around it. Create something with no real competition. If your idea sounds like a better X, it's probably not 0 to 1 yet. Revisit your vision. Is it inevitable or incremental? Would the world notice if your startup disappeared tomorrow? If not, think deeper. Final truth. You can't copy your way to innovation. Innovation isn't about being better, it's about being different in a way that matters. 0 to 1 thinking isn't just a strategy, it's a worldview. It's the difference between building another product, or building a legacy. Don't play someone else's game. Invent your own and make the rules as you go. Stop right there. This isn't just a video. This is a turning point. You're not here by accident. You were meant to see this. If your heart's beating faster, if something inside you just woke up, do not ignore that feeling. Like this video, not for us, but for you. To lock in this energy. Share it because someone out there is lost, and you might be the reason they wake up. Subscribe right now, because we're not done. This channel is about to blow your mind. Again and again and again. This is more than content, this is a revolution, a mindset, a mission. And if you felt this even for a second, then you're part of it now, so don't just watch, join the movement. Like, share, subscribe, or scroll back to the same life you're trying to escape. Your call. Chapter 11. The Founder's Edge. Startups don't succeed because the idea is perfect. They succeed because the founder is relentless. Everyone obsesses over what to build: the product, the pitch, the market, the tech stack, but the real unfair advantage, it's you, the founder, the mindset, the obsession, the edge. Investors don't just bet on ideas, they bet on people who exude inevitability. This chapter reveals the secret sauce behind every breakout startup, the unique edge of the founder, and how you can sharpen yours until nothing can stop you. The core idea: people back people, not products. Think of the most iconic founders: Steve Jobs, reality distortion field; Elon Musk, first principles plus insane execution; Peter Thiel, contrarian clarity; Sarah Blakely, grit and sales DNA; Reed Hastings, ruthless systems thinking. They didn't just build great products, they brought something intangible to the table: a set of beliefs, a mental model, an energy that magnetized capital, talent, and customers. That's the founder's edge, and it's not luck, it's built by design. Real example: Airbnb's rejection loop. In 2008, Airbnb pitched 20 investors. Almost all of them said no. Why? People won't trust strangers in their homes. This isn't scalable. Sounds dangerous. But Brian Chesky and Joe Gebbia had something else. Gives proof of hustle, proof of obsession, proof of vision. They sold cereal boxes to fund their startup. Manually photographed homes themselves, knocked door to door to get users, refused to dive in when broke. That irrational persistence, that impossible to fake energy, that was their founder's edge. 5 traits that define the founder's edge. 1. Clarity of vision. You must see the future before it exists, and describe it so clearly others believe. 2. Clarity cuts through noise. People follow those who sound like they've already been to the future. 2. Bias toward action. You don't wait for permission. You move fast, test ugly, ship often. You don't need a perfect plan, you need velocity. Startups don't die from chaos, they die from paralysis. 3. Contrarian courage. You believe something others think is crazy, and you don't need consensus to move. This trait alone separates founders from entrepreneurs. The crowd is not your compass. 4. Storytelling that moves people. The best founders are sales machines. They sell investors on belief, users on the mission, employees on the vision. Your ability to tell the origin story like it matters is what makes others care. 5. Obsessive drive. Founders with an edge are not casual. They are possessed by the mission. They work longer, bleed deeper, think harder. It's not about being smarter, it's about being unreasonably committed. How to build your founder's edge fast. 1. Write your founder's manifesto. Ask yourself, why this product? Why now? Why you? If you can't convince yourself, you won't convince the world. 2. Practice telling your origin story in 60 seconds. You should be able to explain, gives the problem, gives the insight, gives the mission, in a way that gives people goosebumps. 3. Pick a principle you'll never compromise. Whether it's speed, honesty, product quality, or user first obsession, let it define your culture. 4. Do one irrationally hard thing. This week, something 99% won't do. Cold email 100 customers. Sleep on your office floor. Deliver your product by hand. Launch in 48 hours. These moves become your mythos, and others will follow you because of them. 5. Study legendary founders, like case studies, not to imitate, but to understand how they made the impossible seem inevitable. Build a founder DNA profile and start acting like the founder your vision requires. Final truth: you are the leverage. The company reflects the founder, so if you want to build a legendary company, you must become a legendary founder. It doesn't matter if you went to Stanford. Or why? COMBINATOR. Or if you failed 5 times. What matters is how you think, move, and lead. No one's watching. Startups are the ultimate mirror, and the founder's edge is the difference between average and unforgettable. Chapter 12. Build the future others laugh at. If no one's mocking your idea, it's probably not bold enough. Every revolutionary founder has a moment where they're laughed at. Airbnb: you want strangers to sleep in my house. Tesla: you think an electric sports car can beat Ferrari. Facebook: a website for college kids to poke each other. And yet, those same punchlines became world-changing companies because the founders didn't care about being laughed at. They cared about being right. Eventually, this chapter is about developing the steel conviction required to build something so bold, so new, so misunderstood that people can't help but mock it, right before they copy it. The core idea: ridicule is a leading indicator of innovation. If everyone thinks your idea is obvious, it's probably too late. If people think you're crazy, weird, or naive, you're likely early. Being early looks like being wrong, until time proves you right. In a world obsessed with fitting in, the true founder's superpower is the ability to see clearly while being doubted loudly. You can't build a 0 to 1 company if you need constant validation. Real example: Steve Jobs and the iPhone. When Apple launched the iPhone in 2007, critics laughed. A phone with no buttons. AT&T exclusivity. No keyboard. Why would I need a computer in my pocket? BlackBerry execs dismissed it. Nokia ignored it. Tech bloggers mocked it. But Jobs didn't flinch, because he saw the future, not the present. Today, the iPhone redefined communication, business, photography, and everything in between. That's the power of unshakable vision. Why most people stay safe and stay small. Most people build what others already understand. Why? Because they crave approval. They want applause before results. They fear failure more than regret. They'd rather be accepted than exceptional. But true founders choose differently. I'd rather be ridiculed now, and revered later. That mindset is rare, and it's the only one that leads to world-changing work. How to build a future so bold it sounds crazy. 1. Believe something true before it's obvious. Ask yourself, what do I know about the world that others don't see yet? What truth am I too afraid to admit publicly? This is your founder secret. Own it, build from it. 2. Develop immunity to mockery. If criticism shuts you down, you're not ready. Train yourself to welcome doubt. Screenshot the hate. Save the DMs. Archive the early no's. You'll revisit them later with receipts. 3. Build proof, not permission. The best way to silence doubters. Results. You don't need validation. You need revenue. User screenshots, retention, a growing waitlist. You don't need them to believe, just to watch. 4. Make the future feel inevitable. Great founders don't just build. They tell stories of a future that feels undeniable. They say, in 10 years, no one will do X this way anymore. In 5 years, everyone will need Y and will be ready. Right now, we're crazy. But we're early. And early wins. That narrative becomes your magnet for talent, capital, and customers. 5. Own the weirdness. Sharpen the edge. The very thing people mock is often your greatest moat. Too different equals high switching cost. Too niche equals perfect tribe. Too bold equals no competitors. Don't soften your edges to fit the mold. Sharpen them until they cut through the noise. Action steps. Become unmockable by being unshakable. Write down the top 3 doubts people have about your idea. Turn each into a product proof point. Build an MVP that confirms the crazy insight. Prove the impossible part works first. Design your future narrative. Gives right now. They laugh. But in 5 years. Use this in pitches, decks, and interviews. Collect evidence of early traction. It doesn't need to be perfect, just undeniable. Make peace with the laughs, laugh with them, then out-execute everyone. Final truth: mockery is a badge of honor. The world never welcomes change until it has no choice. If they mock you, you're onto something. If they copy you later, you were right all along. The goal isn't to build what's obvious, it's to build what becomes obvious only after you've built it. That's how you go from being laughed at to being legendary. Final chapter coming up: the 0 to 1 operating system. In the final chapter, we'll tie everything together into an actionable blueprint, summarize the timeless principles of 0 to 1 thinking, give you a 30-day execution plan to build something bold, scalable, and unforgettable. Final chapter: the 0 to 1 operating system. It's not what you know, it's what you build, what you believe, and what you commit to relentlessly. You've made it this far. You've absorbed the secrets, the mindsets, the systems, the truths most people never hear. But reading isn't the endgame. The true shift begins now. This chapter is your transformation, your blueprint, your launchpad. Because a great founder doesn't just read big ideas, they build on them. And from this point forward, you no longer think like the 99%. You think like the few who go from 0 to 1. So let's take everything you've learned and make it operational. Think like a founder who wins the future. Founders who build legendary companies don't operate on borrowed opinions or industry norms. They build from first principles and move with definite optimism, a rare blend of clarity, conviction, and courage. You now know, most advice is noise. Your insight is signal. Most markets are saturated. Yours must be asymmetrical. Most ideas are safe. Yours must be secret, misunderstood, and bold. Most people seek approval. You must seek truth, traction, and transformation. To win this game, you must reprogram how you operate. Every decision from this point on must reflect the DNA of a founder who's not just chasing success, but shaping it. The core commandments of 0 to 1 execution: build what only you can build. Stop trying to outdo others. Start doing what only you are uniquely positioned to do because of your experience. Your obsession, your beliefs create monopolies, not marginal gains. Aim to be the only one doing what you do. If you're building something that sounds familiar, tear it down and start again with a bolder insight. Focus like your life depends on it. Distraction is death. Clarity is a weapon. Cut everything that doesn't create asymmetric value. Single task your company to greatness. Don't scale what's unproven. Nail it, then scale it. Do the hard, manual things early. Obsess over the few users who care. Make something they can't live without. Only then multiply it. Tell a story that makes the future feel inevitable. Your pitch, your product, your messaging, it must all reinforce the same narrative. This is going to happen, and we're the ones building it. Move faster than fear. Imperfect. Progress beats perfect paralysis. Ship, test, break, learn, but never stand still. Velocity is your moat in the early days. Think in decades. Operate in days. Hold the long vision, but execute like it's life or death every 24 hours. That's how great companies are built, relentlessly. And with rhythm. From 0 to 1, your next 30 days. In the next 30 days, everything can change if you choose to operate differently. Here's how. Day 1, 2, 3. Refine your founder insight. What do you know that others don't? What are you obsessed with? Write the heretical truth you're willing to bet everything on. Day 4 to 7. Talk to users. Obsess over pain, and design the simplest possible version of your product. Forget perfection, focus on traction. Day 8 to 14. Ship the MVP. Get uncomfortable. Share it publicly. Let the silence or criticism fuel your next iteration. You are in feedback mode, now, not fantasy mode. Day 15 to 21. Find your early believers. The first 10 users, partners, or backers who lean in. Over-deliver for them. Build intimacy before scale. Day 22 to 30. Kill what's not working. Double down on what is. Tell your story publicly. Share your vision relentlessly. Start turning your belief into a movement. Final truth. You are the startup. It's not your code, not your product, not your funding. You are the startup, your vision, your obsession, your decisions, your unwillingness to quit. 0 to 1 isn't just a book. It's a mindset, a method, a mission. And from this moment forward, it's yours. Build the thing others are too scared to try. Say the truth others whisper but never admit. Become the person you'd bet on if you were an investor. This is your unfair advantage. This is your unfair advantage. This is your edge. This is how legends are made. Welcome to the 1% who build the future. Let them laugh, then make them watch. Stop right there. This isn't just a video. This is a turning point. You're not here by accident. You were meant to see this. If your heart's beating faster, if something inside you just woke up, do not ignore that feeling. Like this video, not for us, but for you. To lock in this energy. Share it because someone out there is lost, and you might be the reason they wake up. Subscribe right now, because we're not done. This channel is about to blow your mind. Again and again and again. This is more than content. This is a revolution, a mindset, a mission. And if you felt this even for a second, then you're part of it now. So don't just watch. Join the movement. Like, share, subscribe, or scroll back to the same life you're trying to escape. Your call.